Hey there, how's it going? Today we're going to talk about how to fit fitness into your schedule to enhance your lifestyle, okay? My name is Max Nazir from Fit to the Max, Roswell D Premier Fitness and Wellness Studio in Atlanta. And I want to talk to you about the things that you can do to schedule everything so that way you can just enhance your lifestyle and you'll be able to fit fitness and wellness and healthy living into your daily life, okay? Now, I'll tell you this, I have a system that I've created, and I've created a system out of necessity because I wanted to figure out ways that I could become more fit and well and still, run a business and, interact with my family and just do all the things I need to do so that I can be successful at life, all right? And I came out with this program because I'll be honest, I'm not the most organized person in the world. Like, I get things done, but I'm not always the one who's always neat and have everything lined up. So this is a system that I kind of have in my head that I've been able to kind of create, and I'm going to do the best way that I can to articulate it to you. All right? So a lot of people, they always complain about having challenges with fitness in terms of being able to implement that in their life or finding time to cook the healthy foods that they need so that they can transform their bodies. So what I've done is I've kind of, mapped out like real life scenarios to help people to live that healthy and active lifestyle, okay? So I always say this, before you even get into anything, you always want to make sure you control your bookends, okay? The beginning of the day and the end of the day, it should be a routine and it should be the same. I know for me, sometimes I travel from time to time for different conferences or for work or leisure or whatever, or even when I'm at home, I always want to make sure that I have some type of consistency in the beginning of the day and the end of the day, because the fires that are going on through the middle of the day, you never know what's going to happen. But at least if I can control the end and the beginning, then that helps me to move along and to make progress. So the question I want to ask is, what is my bookend, all right? What's my bookend in the morning, and what is my bookend at night, okay? So in the morning, my bookend for the most part is probably going to be somewhere between 5 or 6 or so, depending on the day, all the way to about 9 a.m. So the things that I really want to make sure that I'm doing every day with consistency are these things. Number one, I always want to make sure that I'm praying and meditating. Okay, that's what's going to help me to be healthy spiritually. And there's a lot of studies and tons of documentation that talks about praying and meditation and how it can help someone in terms of relieving stress and anxiety and allow them to think clearer and to feel more free and calm as they go on throughout the week. Okay, so you have that. Number two, I want to read something motivational or encouraging. So for me, that would be, Bible, scripture, a devotion, and then a positive thinking book. Okay, one of the books I'm reading right now is Wild by Todd Durkin, and it talks about different things you could do just to live that more impactful life. So it's something I'm kind of digging into, and it's helping out a lot. Okay, and then the next thing I want to do is this. I want to make sure that I do something for my physical, for my body. So then that's when I will eat and work out. Really, it's probably the other way around. I'll work out and then I eat, but I'll do those three things, and I do those things consistently every day. And if I can do those things, then I'm healthy spiritually, mentally, and physically. So now let's go on the other side, right? What is my other bookend between 8 and 9:30? Because sometimes my day ends early, sometimes my day ends late, but I still want to make sure that no matter what time my day ends, I have some type of consistency. So that will usually wrap up with some type of family time. Okay, so that's either us, sitting on the couch and maybe just catching up, talking over dinner and catching up that way. Or, we have a toddler, it's about 2 years old, maybe we'll have a little huddle, by her crib and kind of connecting that way before they go to bed. And sometimes that could be 5 minutes, or sometimes it can be an hour and a half. It just depends on the day. But at least we're making sure that we get that family time to connect. Okay? And then the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that, I take a moment to reflect on the day. Reflect on the goods, reflect on the bad, reflect on the things that you want to improve. And either you can do this mentally or you can write things down. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take 10 minutes. I'll take 10 minutes just to think about what happened throughout the day. And what I will do is I'll go in and I'll make sure that, hey, you know what, I write down what went well, what I want to improve, and what I want to focus on that next day, okay? So those are my bookends. So now we can look at the week, and I'm not including Saturday and Sunday because most people work Monday through Friday, and I think that's where the challenges are coming about. So we'll focus on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I just have random things. It's not all inclusive, but maybe different things that you may have to do during the week that you may be able to identify with, all right? So first things first, we'll talk about the spirituality aspect, right? We know that's already crossed out because in my bookend, we're covering that. Now I can add to it. You know, maybe I might want to take some time out just to read and to reflect and to pray and to meditate throughout the day, and I have that flexibility. But at least I've covered that, you know, in the morning because that's what's really important to me, and I want to make sure whatever's really important, I'm getting it done earlier in the day. Okay? Next thing, we can look at exercise, right? Again, that's already addressed because it's controlled within the bookend of my day. All right? So now you're seeing how we're starting to breed some consistency with the things that really matter and that's really important, right? So that's what we're doing there. So now let's look at this. Now, this technique that I want to talk about is called batching, okay? When you batch things and you do them all together, what it does, it allows you to be able to do things in a more effective and a more efficient way, okay? If I'm cooking every single day, then that means all those 5 times throughout the week that I'm thinking about cooking, that's a process where I have to kind of get into that mental space where I have to cook and prepare and get all these different foods organized. Versus if we cook on Monday and we cook for 5 days, now I'm in that same mindset and I could go ahead and batch it because it only takes a little bit more work than what you would have to do for 1 meal to prepare for 5 meals. It just means that, you know, you increase the servings, you increase all the different ingredients and multiply that by 5. So now you have 5 different dishes that you can kind of stretch out through the week. Or you can have, like, you know, maybe you might have some rice cooking on this side and then you have some mixed vegetables on this side. And then you're cooking some chicken. Maybe one of them you season, one of them you marinate, one of them you bake, one of them you grill. And now you kind of have all those meals prepared. So that's why people always call it meal prep. You can do this on a Monday and have all your meals taken care of. So even though you've done it this day, you're benefiting from it on this day, that day, that day, and that day. Okay? So again, it just makes it that much more effective and more efficient for you to be able to move forward in that way. Okay? So now, let's look at emails. Usually what I try to do is I try to do my best, and maybe you may have been a victim of it, and if so, I'm sorry. All right? But I batch how I answer my emails. So what I do is this. When I check my emails, what I do is somewhere between 2 and 3 p.m. is when I check all my emails, and then I respond to them that way. So that way, if there's emails that I overlook, I'm able to kind of catch them, deal with what I need to deal with, and then move from there. Because if I'm answering emails at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, at 12 o'clock, I'm breaking up my flow, I'm breaking up my rhythm, and it's not allowing me to be the most impactful when it comes to do the things that really move the needle. And the fact of the matter is this, everybody always wonders about that emergency that's going to occur. Well, my experience is this, and you tell me if I'm right or I'm wrong, if there's an emergency, last thing a person will do is email you, right? So there we go. So that's what I do. I usually spend that time answering emails between 2 or 3, and then at that point in time, hopefully I would have done the major things that I really want to get done somewhere between 9 and 1, okay? So I'm leaving that open. I'm protecting that space because at the end of the day, we need to get these things done, but we know that we have to be productive at work or our businesses or whatever we're responsible for or things that we're being a steward to, okay? So now we got the cooking down, we got the emails down, return calls, okay? So again, talk about return calls. I'll make a decision whether the return call should either get a call or a text message, depending on what's happening for that day and what the message was. And in between 3 to 3:30, I can go ahead and return calls. Okay, and I can get it done in that window. So at this point in time, I'm able to make the connections that are necessary and to troubleshoot and to problem solve all those things I need to get done and put out those fires. So now we have that taken care of. We talked about time with the family. That's already addressed because we covered that in the bookend. But if I want to, for example, maybe, you know, shift some things around on a Wednesday and I want to do a lunch date of some sort, I can do that without fear of dropping the ball in all those different areas. Okay, so now let's talk about the stuff that you need to do at work. First things first, for all of you guys, you should know what really is the thing that moves the needle at your job. I know here at Fit to the Max with all of our employees, we always talk about something called a KPI, a key performance indicator. And what a key performance indicator is this, it's the one thing when everything goes to heck that you need to do to make sure that you're moving the needle and that you're making progress within your work or within your business, whatever it is. You know, it may be setting appointments. It may be making sure that you're interacting with people in a powerful way. It may be making sure that you send out a certain amount of proposals to different organizations or companies regarding the product that you have. So that's that important work project, right? So that important work project, you want to make sure that you're focusing on that. And that's usually going to be a 2.5 hour thing. Because the study shows this. For most people, in terms of being productive at work, you have about like 2.5 hours where we call this Einstein time, where you can really get the maximum production out of you. Somewhere between 2.5 hours and 3, you start finding that you start lagging a little bit, things start dropping off, and you're not able to be as productive as you were when you're during that Einstein time, which is those 2.5 hours. So you want to protect that 2.5 hours and make sure that you're taking care of that one thing or that key performance indicator that's really going to allow you to excel and be able to move you towards that next level. Okay? So now we have that covered. Now, keep in mind, in that 2.5 hours, because it's uninterrupted now, you're going to be able to make more progress, because we understand this. Anytime you take up a phone call or you're interrupted, that's going to take away about 10 to 15 minutes, all the way up to 30 minutes of productivity. So every time you pick up a phone, you check your email, you're on Facebook, you're killing your productivity and you're robbing your Einstein time. So we want to make sure that that 2.5 hours, you want to have it protected. Sometimes what I'll do is when I'm working on a major project, and it's okay, that's what voicemail is for. I will put the phone to the side. I will dive in deep for the 2.5 hours. Maybe it might be a book that I'm writing. It may be some content for a blog. It may be a video. I might be working with a client face-to-face, one-on-one. I want to make sure that for that important project, I want to have that protected, okay? And I can do this on Tuesday. I can work on it Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and at the end of it all, now I have about 12 to 15 hours that I gave my best to one very specific and particular thing that's going to move the needle. Because the fact of the matter is this, for most people, it's really about 1, 2, maybe 3 things that are really important for you to be able to be uber successful. And it's important to be able to know what those things are, because if you don't, then you do get caught up in playing around on the Facebook and the Twitter and, you know, answering emails that probably don't deserve a response, or dealing with return calls that really robs you of your energy and robs you of productivity. So it's about understanding what's important, planning it each and every day, and then looking at it from the beginning of the week and understanding what are the different things that I need to do every day during that week to be able to make progress and success. I hope that this was able to be helpful. Give me some feedback. Let me know. And again, this is just in my own quirky way how it works out in my mind. Okay, so I've followed a lot of different people who, you know, perform well, and I saw some consistencies. So I started including that into what I started doing with my days, and then making it work that way. Okay, so if you like it, let me know. If you love it, let me know. Leave a comment below, or feel free to share it with someone if you feel like they could benefit from it. Okay, if you didn't like it, then let me know too. Or if you want more questions, if you have more questions in terms of what we can do to make it applicable to you. Like I know, for example, we have someone here that, you know, they work 12 hours a day in the hospital. You know, there's different ways that you can do it, because chances are if you're working 12 hours a day, you probably get 1 extra day off a week that most people get. So there's still ways where you can still batch your different things and make it work for you, all right? But I just want to give you the philosophy, the concept, and use myself as an example, and then for you to modify it and tweak it to make it work for you, all right? So take care, God bless, and remember, you can be fit, or you can be fit to the max, spiritually, mentally, and physically strong.